malt liquor video. Former Apache Rakkasan soldier and Airborne paratrooper, Mr. Met 40 ounce. Back with another one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this one is going to be a little different than the rest. Those of you that are subscribed to my channel, that have been following me for a while, this malt liquor video will be a little bit different. It's themed for Memorial Day, and it's a way for me to remember my friends that were lost. There's going to be a little bit of a serious topic, serious tone to this one, and I just want to be able to share it with y'all. So I would ask those of you that don't know what this is, that are watching this for the first time, this is Malt Liquor Entertainment. I wear a ski mask or this type of mask, bandana mask, because I'm not the star of the show. The Malt Liquor is. That's how it usually goes. That's what Malt Liquor Entertainment is all about. I've embraced that whole thing. Not everybody does that, but I choose to do that. Okay. Also, furthermore, it is Memorial Day, and I know that I'm beefing with a few people. We got what's called a malt liquor beef going on. The Brister, Mr. Some Drunk, Dorf 68, among other people. Now, the Brister, Mr. Some Drunk, and Dorf 68 are veterans as well, and you know, so that's why I'm not going to be cussing them out or anyone out today, really. I will not be talking about politics or discussing any type of politics. This is a way for me to honor my friends, two of my good friends that I did lose in Iraq, that I was in the same unit with. I lost others, but these are the ones that stick with me the most because we were in the same unit at the time that it happened. And this is going to be a tough one for me to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie; it's going to be hard for me to get through some of this stuff. So that's what it's all about. It's not a blueprint malt liquor video. We do have a 24-ounce can of Mickey's Fine Malt Liquor, and I'll explain that later. But we also have a shot of rum. Okay. My two friends that I lost. Well, Sergeant Michael J. Idanan, he was killed on November 19th, 2005. It's been almost 10 years now. And I wear this black KIA bracelet in his honor. And my other good friend, Sergeant First Class Jason Lee Bishop, who was killed on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2006, in Beiji, Iraq. And I'll explain those in better detail as we move forward with that. Okay? If you see people, veterans or not, maybe family members, wearing these black bracelets like this, okay, that's a way for them to honor the war dead. Maybe their friends or maybe family members or whatever it is, people from their unit. That's why I wear them. That's just how I honor them. I wear them whenever I can. Sometimes I can't wear them at work, but I wear them whenever and wherever I can. Okay, so that's what the black bracelets mean. Michael Idanan, God bless him. Let me get this shot of rum out of the way first, and then we'll get into it. I say Sailor Jerry spiced rum. I believe both of them enjoyed some rum here and there. We're going to pour it into a shot glass. This is the only shot glass I had. Okay. And into a coffee cup from the unit that I was in the 101st Airborne Division, the Rakkasans, 3rd Brigade of the 101st. I was an Apache Troop Rakkasan, as were these guys, these fine gentlemen. This is in their honor. Mike and Jason's for you. Reminds me of why I don't really care for liquor too much. My goodness. Their rum was not too bad though. Okay. Michael was 21 years old when he was killed on November 19, 2005. I remember that day like it was yesterday. And it was in Beiji, Iraq, and it was an IED that got them, or a landmine. They ran over a landmine with their vehicle. And he was the only one that was killed. Everybody else managed to get out of the vehicle in time. There were serious injuries as well. That was a tough day for Apache Troop. I remember it like it was yesterday. You know, Mike was a good man. He and I were in the same unit for the invasion of Iraq, OIF-1, the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment out of Fort Polk. I didn't know him then. I didn't know him until I got to Fort Campbell, and we were in the same troop in the 101st. You know, Mike was he was one of the best soldiers we had in the troop. He was always a joy to be around. You know, and he was probably going to make a life career out of this. He would have went far too. He was one of the best soldiers that I ever had the honor of serving with. Every day, or during baseball season 2005, you know, he'd come up to me and be like, "Oh, Sarge, you know what? You see the Met game last night?" I said, "Yeah, I saw the Met game last night." He's like, "Yeah, good, they suck." He would always give me shit about the Mets and how bad they were. The Mets were not that great in 2005, you know. He was from Chula Vista, California. He was a Padres fan. So whenever the Mets and Padres would meet up, which wasn't very often, you know, he'd say, "You're going to watch the Met," or he would go like this. He says, "You're going to watch the Padre game tonight." I said, "Yeah, I'm going to watch the Met game tonight." You know, and inevitably the Mets would lose and it wouldn't be very good. So I'd have to hear about it all the next day at work, or probably for the rest of the damn week, you know. So that's the way that went. I would give anything, ladies and gentlemen, I would give anything to have Mike come up to me right now and give me shit about the New York Mets. I would love to do that. We would talk about our time in the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment and talk about how things were there as compared to the 101st Airborne Division. They were two separate units. And he would look back with great fondness. Mike was a good man, and he was a great soldier. He's one of the finest soldiers I ever had the honor of serving with. I'll show you a picture of him. Now, this was taken, I think, about a month or so before his death. All right, this is who we were with. 3rd Brigade of the 101st Airborne Division, the Rockasans. That's Mike right there. That's him, ladies and gentlemen. That's him up in the gunner's hatch, manning a Mark 19 machine gun. And I do miss him. I miss him a lot. I miss his attitude. Now, we did not run in the same circles back then. I was an NCO. I was a sergeant, and he was not. You know, but it would always be a joy to see him and for him to give me shit about the New York Mets, among other things. You know, I talked with him the day before he died. We were outside smoking a cigarette. I used to smoke then. And I talked with him. We talked about the 2nd ACR extensively that day. You know, and then he was saying, he says, "You know, I can't wait till we get home from Iraq." We still had 7 or 8 months at that point. Baseball season's coming up. I can't wait to get home from Iraq, so I give you more shit about the Mets. I said, "Yeah, all right, tough guy. We'll see about that, you know." I miss him. I miss him. Let me crack open this Mickey's here. Well, liquor label out. All right, now, Jason Bishop, on the other hand, I miss him too. We also did not run in the same circles a lot. We did not really socialize that much outside of work. You know, once in a while we might meet up at the local bar or something for a beer. You know, that happened all the time. He was married. He was a family man. He had a couple children. This is him. This is Jason. This is while he was out on patrol. This picture was taken 4 days before he was killed, before he died. So I believe that this is the last picture of him that exists. I don't know for certain, but I think so. I miss him too, you know. We had in 2005, before we deployed to Iraq, we were training up, we were getting ready to go. The troop first sergeant made me the troop treasurer. Imagine that. My nickname in that unit was the Hebrew Hammer. In the Army, and the Brister, and Dorf 68, and Mr. Sumdrunk, and Mr. Rainer 009, shout out to Mr. Rainer 009. You do not self-apply a nickname in the military, at least in the Army you don't. I don't know how it was in the Navy or the Air Force with those aforementioned gentlemen there. But in the Army, you do not self-apply a nickname. So a good friend of mine came up with that name for me, and it kind of stuck. That's what they called me. Whenever I link up with one of these guys now, even all these years later, they still call me the Hebrew Hammer, you know. That's not a bad nickname. There's far worse. So the troop first sergeant made me the troop treasurer, and he told me, he says, "I need you to go around to all the platoons and all the platoon sergeants and collect up all the money for these T-shirts. You have a special unit T-shirt that you get made up, and the soldiers come up with a design for it, and it gets made up in a local T-shirt shop in town. That's usually how it goes. And most units, large units like the 101st, 82nd Airborne Division, 3rd ID, Fielders, every unit, every company, size, element, troop, battery, or whatever, has a unit t-shirt. So we had a unit t-shirt for our troop. It was pretty badass. I don't have, the last one I had, I lost it. I don't have it anymore. Otherwise I'd be wearing it. But so I had to go around all the platoon sergeants and collect up all the money. So Jason, I says, you know, I addressed him by his proper rank because he did outrank me at the time. But for the purpose of this, it's Jason. You know, he was my friend, my brother, and I miss him. I says, Jason, you got that thing for me or what, right? And he's like, all right, wise guy, I got that for you. So then I go up to shake his hand, you know, and he says, oh, look who the first sergeant sent me over here. Of course he sends me this guy to collect up some kind of money, you asshole. I said, yeah, all right, just make sure after we're done shaking hands that you count your fucking fingers after we're done shaking hands, you asshole. So he laughed, and I laughed. And, you know, you're not really supposed to talk to a higher-ranking guy like that, but that's the type of guy he was, you know. And he would also relentlessly badger me about how bad the Mets were in 2005. And the Mets were not good that year, ladies and gentlemen. They weren't. I don't know what the exact record was, but it's not pretty. I would give anything for him to give me some shit about how bad the Mets are. Okay. I looked up to him. I looked up to Jason a lot. He would extensively talk about his time in the 82nd Airborne Division and what it was like to be a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne. And at that time, at that point in my life and my career, I had not gone to airborne school yet. I was not a paratrooper. That was in 2004, 2005, you know, and I did not become a paratrooper until 2009. And I used to listen to stories that he'd tell about 82nd Airborne and Fort Bragg and how it was over there, and I said, I want to be a paratrooper too. So he was one of the inspirations for me deciding to go to airborne school. And I miss him a lot, you know. I mean, we didn't run in the same circles and we didn't socialize that much outside of work, but once in a while we did, you know. And he was a little bit of a mentor to me, and I did look up to him and I respected him immensely. And it sucks that he's gone. He had a wife, he had a couple kids, and I believe his kids now are probably in high school, or maybe one of them might be graduated. I don't know, but you know, rest in peace, Jason and Mike. All my friends, and I do miss you. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little bit hard for me. Okay. I am now going to play the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault Unit song. Okay, this brings me to probably the hardest point right here. There's an old poem that's written by Unknown as we're approaching the swill. Shout out to Mike and Jason. It's called Fiddler's Green, ladies and gentlemen, and it's an old legend, I suppose. It's an old thing, written probably in the 1800s, that says, every cavalryman worth his salt. And I was a 19 Delta. That's an armored reconnaissance specialist. I served in cavalry units my whole career, except for the last part of it, where I was an observer controller at Fort Irwin, at the NTC. But even then, we covered down in cavalry units and cavalry tactics, armored reconnaissance specialist. Reporting enemy information so the commander can determine how to maneuver the rest of his units on the battlefield. That's what a scout does. That's what a Cap Scout does. So we had a thing called Fiddler's Green, all right? And every cavalryman worth his salt goes to Fiddler's Green, brings the drink of his choice. So, you know, Mike and Jason, I firmly believe that we will meet again, all right? I think we will meet again, and y'all motherfuckers, I'll tell you what, I'll bring the 40 ounces of Colt 45 malt liquor and the dancing girls. Y'all bring the rum and whiskey and the playing cards and all the rest of the debaucherous fun that we're going to have. We will meet again in this life or the next. Fiddler's Green, ladies and gentlemen, as we're approaching the swill.
Halfway down the trail to hell, in a shady meadow green, are the souls of all dead troopers camped near a good old-time canteen. And this eternal resting place is known as Fiddler's Green. Marching past, straight through to hell, the infantry are seen, accompanied by the engineers, artillery, and marines. For none but the shades of cavalrymen dismount at Fiddler's Green. Though some go curving down the trail to seek a warmer scene, no trooper ever gets to hell ere he's emptied his canteen, and so rides back to drink again with friends at Fiddler's Green. And so when man and horse go down beneath a saber keen, or in a roaring charge of fierce melee, you stop a bullet clean, and the hostiles come to get your scalp, just empty your canteen and put your pistol to your head and go to Fiddler's Green.
Troop attention, present, Mike and Jason, I miss y'all. I think about you every single day, every day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see posts, it's not National Barbecue Day. Okay. My two buddies would want me and the rest of us to go hang out, drink some beers, down a local rub and tug, down the strip club, whatever the case may be, and hang out and have a good time or enjoy yourselves. Remember them, but don't, you know, don't think you're doing a disservice by having a good time on Memorial Day. That's Mr. Met 40 ounce. I ask one more thing. Please don't leave any hateful comments in this video. If you have hate, go to my previous video or my next video and leave it there, because some of the family members might see this, and just something for you to think about. You know, I am malt liquor beefing with a few people. That's the way it is. So that's all I ask of you. Just show my Michael J. Idanan and Jason Bishop some respect. You know, that's all I ask. Thank you. I'm out of here.